What's your position on the style train? A few years ago, I had a lovely lady who I always thought of as well dressed tell me that she considers herself the caboose. Adjusting to new styles just takes her longer. The style personality types adopt new styles in a predictable order. In this episode, I'll share that order and explain how it relates to my style personality quiz, which you can take at my website, or I'll drop a link in the description below. I'm also going to explain how it relates to Myers-Briggs. So this first bit is from a blog post that I wrote in 2006, but it still holds true. I've adjusted the names of the style types a little bit. Okay, so the engine is the edgy style. Another word for it would be innovative or trendy. Trendy, I don't think that fits that very well. This is a person who doesn't care about trends and they're setting them. So they're usually not in style, only because they're way out ahead of it. So the next type is either considered, I think I've got it named dramatic now. In this post, I wrote glamorous, but this style type will usually compromise on currentness in order to look great. Contemporary won't compromise on currentness, but they still want to look great. And then, so that's edgy, dramatic, contemporary, and then timeless or traditional is right after that to adopt new trends. And then, yeah, so that's the caboose. And nostalgic or romantic is just tossing flower petals off the rear platform while waving her hanky. And then sporty or natural, I think I have it named natural in the style personality quiz. Could be also considered functional, which is what it was in the old blog post, is not even on the train. This person is on a horse galloping along beside. Whether it's just for fun or because she missed the train, I'm not sure. Anyway, that was just a little fun walk through the order of the style types in the style personality quiz. And here is what it relates to in the Myers-Briggs system. It relates to the perceiving cognitive functions. And perceiving basically means taking in new information, learning. People do that through one of two channels, sensing and intuition. Actually, everyone uses both and ideally together, but you usually enjoy one more than the other. And that's either the S or the N in your Myers-Briggs four-letter code. N is for intuition, but because the letter I is already taken by introversion, we use N. Also, parenthetically, here's something new. This is exciting. I'm now offering conversational personality profiling. So you can learn more about that at my website, signaturestylesystems.com, and I'll also drop a link in the episode description. So what most people miss if they only focus on the dichotomies like introversion versus extroversion or sensing versus intuitive, etc., is that there are actually two different kinds of each of the judging and perceiving functions, and they work differently. So the perceiving functions, that's what we're talking about in this episode, they connect to the element in my style personality that has to do with timelines and how people go about adopting trends. So introverted sensing would be considered the either like traditional or nostalgic style type. These are people who like look good in vintage stuff and yeah, they might not adopt trends super well, but their wardrobe's going to last for them for a really long time, and it's going to always be appropriate. That's the word. So extroverted sensing are the people who are more interested in being current and contemporary. They a lot of times have a uh, yeah, an aesthetic that's current and contemporary. Introverted intuition is tends to be either futuristic or sort of imaginative. And extroverted intuition is kind of atemporal. It can be all over the place and take in a lot of ideas. And these are people who can even wear looks that have nothing to do with their ethnic heritage and look perfectly normal in them. The hero had a season of wearing, he and a friend of his, a couple friends of his, they all had African shirts and they all wore them to work on Fridays instead of like Hawaiian shirts and looked perfectly normal. And so these were all people that used extroverted intuition. Okay, so two more things I want to say about the style personality types. About the perceiving functions, everyone uses two, one introverted and one extroverted, one sensing and one intuition. So I'm wondering, did one or two of the styles that I mentioned resonate with you when I went through them? So I'm going to repeat those. Their introverted sensing correlates with traditional or nostalgic style. Extroverted sensing correlates with current and contemporary style. Introverted intuition correlates with futuristic or imaginative style. And extroverted intuition is atemporal and can be kind of all over the place. And then the second thing I want to say is that people who are close to you can have an influence on how you like to show up. Your mom, your husband, your community. So the personality type is just one node in the system. So here's your homework. Ultimately, as with everything, you get to decide how you want to implement this for yourself. So just have fun playing dress up. And thanks for being here for Signature Style Systems.